Perfect. So, it's something that we do on an occasion. It's exciting. I know there's people from all over the world. We've got interpretation in Italy. We got interpretation in Portuguese. We got interpretation in Hindi. So again, how insane is team expansion, right? We are growing, we are expanding. And the only way we can keep continuously expanding is if every single one of us are educated about our products, are educated about our services. And the number one service which we have is the Forex market, right? And Forex is probably the most reputable way to actually make a significant amount of income, in this industry. I've seen people go from broke to absolute, riches through the Forex market. So again, being on this call, you are here to learn, you're here to take down some notes. So if you don't know, quick introduction. My name is Devron. I forgot to introduce myself. But yeah, my name is Devron. I'm a leader here in Team Expansion Worldwide and an iGenius. And if you're brand new to our team, I know a lot of people joined this week, probably don't know who I am. Welcome. We welcome you to our team. This is a culture. This is a family. This is, a place where you can actually learn, grow, and the community here to actually grow some wealth. So we're going to kick this call off the right way. And the guy that I'm introducing, most of you know him. Most of you ask him a ton of questions. Most of you have him on social media. You see, the way he trades. You see the life that he lives. You see the way he teaches on our platform. And he's the #1 requested trainer in our team, and I know in other teams as well. So he's got a very, 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 very good reputation in this industry for educating people. And today he's humbled enough to take out the time from his insane schedule to jump on this call, to pour into our team, to give us value, to make sure that we get the right knowledge, we get the right education, and we set in the right systems to actually take our life and our trading knowledge to the next level. So that is what it's all about being a part of this community. So I want you guys to drop a welcome Ralph onto your chat so I can welcome him to the call. Ralph, my brother, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You guys can see I got the safari hat on. I am excited. I am ready. Drop a 5 in the chat in the chat back for Devron. Drop a 5 in the chat back for Devron, because I always want to give it back to leadership and also our millionaire student, Mr. Sashan himself, Sashan himself, right? Let's give it back to them, right? Let's give it back to all the leadership in this group. Listen, I am so excited. When I was asked to do this call, I said, of course I'm going to do this. Now, let me ask this. If we can put on our cameras, if we can, because we're a family, right? If we can put on our cameras, I brought on the silly hat today because it's so hot in Miami that I feel like I'm in a safari, right? So if we can put on our videos, put on our hat, look, family don't hide from each other. It's okay how we look. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I'm looking rough. That's why I have this hat on. I get a haircut tomorrow, but I'm looking very rough. But listen, I'm showing my face, right? So let's not be scared and let's show our faces. There we go. Look at the beautiful, handsome men. Look at the. Well, let me see. Okay, hold on. Let's look at this. Let's do a roll call real quick. I love to see faces, right? So there we go. There go Nick, V, Tara. Oh, she's working out. Look at that. Oh my goodness. She's in the gym and she's here. Mr. Konda, Juliana, Shamim, Doreen. Look at this. There we go. There we go. You see this? This is beautiful. Pete, I love Pete. Is it cold? Where you at? Because you were in the. Oh my God! No. No. All right. Anyway, let's get going, man. I'm a little bit, I'm goofy at times. I like to have fun, but I also like to learn. Right. A little bit about myself, so that we're not complete strangers. My name is Ralph Damquah. I live in Miami, Florida. I've been trading for this year is going to be 7 years that I've been trading. I used to be a teacher. So you guys can kind of see where that teaching, come from. I just love teaching. I've made good income trading, but I love to teach. I like to impart what God has given me when it comes to this skill set. I started in 2015, October of 2015. A little bit about myself so that, we're not complete strangers. So my wife told me a little bit after my birthday that she was pregnant. I said, okay, cool. So when she told me that she was pregnant back in 2015, a light bulb just came into me. I was like, you know what? Me being a teacher is cool, but it's something that I can't give to my child. So if we have any parents here, any fathers, any mothers, you can kind of attest to this. So I said, you know what? Let me go find something that could help me, or I can give to my child, right? A legacy or a gift that I can give to her. So a friend of mine told me about Forex. And at the time, I'm like, Forex? What in the world is that? He said it's about investing. I'm like, no. I'm broke. I have no money. I have absolutely no money. I just live paycheck to paycheck. So he said, look, listen, this is what it is. It's about exchanging currencies, one currency for another. I'm like, bro, I don't go to school for that. Like, I don't know nothing about that. So long story short, within 6 months, right? So 6 months of my first, so my story is going to be also a training, right? So we'll do a training. So in my first 6 months, I was garbage, trash. How do you say trash? I don't know about how to say trash in different languages, but I was trash. If you ever traded before and you've blown an account, let me see in the chat box. Drop a 1 in the chat box if you ever blown an account before. For those of us that are, there might be some, experienced traders. Let me know in the chat box as well. How long have you been trading, or how long have you been part of the company? Let me know in the chat box real quick. How long have you been part of it? Is it 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, right? How long have you been trading? And let me see in the chat. So I see a lot of ones. 6 months, 5 months, 1 week, 2 months. So a lot of you guys probably doing better than I did, because when I first started, can you believe in my first 6 months, I blew 15 accounts, right? And today I'm gonna talk about what I was doing. I blew 15, meaning that I put in money into the MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5, and I blew them. I mean, absolutely blew them. Just craziness, doing some crazy stuff, right? So today I'm gonna talk about what I did and what you shouldn't do, right? The basics of the Forex market. All right, so we all know that the Forex market is the exchange of one currency, right, versus the other. Recently, I think yesterday or today, I seen that the US market is about to go into recession. I seen that yesterday. I said, US market is about to go into recession. I'm like, recession? I haven't heard that since 2008. So one thing about the Forex market than any other market is that it doesn't matter about the economy at all whatsoever. So the economy could be going good. The economy could be going bad. As long as you press buy and the market goes up, you make money. As long as you press sell and the market goes down, you make money. So it doesn't matter about the economy. It doesn't matter about what's going on, if this is that. So long story short, a couple of years later, I've been able to, retire myself, retire my wife, retire my parents. And it's been going very good for me. But one of the things that I like to do is teach. And for those of you, drop a 5 in the chat box if you ever been on my session. Now, I was part of a previous company for 6 good years, right? And the things that I'm teaching here, right, because I have more liberty to do a lot here. So the things that I'm teaching here, I'm going in depth, more in depth with. That means that most of you guys have not. Ooh, Devron. Ooh, okay. All right. So this is gonna be good. All right. So some of you guys don't know how goofy I get. Okay, cool. All right. So again, drop. Which country are you tuning in from? Let me see something. What country are you tuning in from? Or where are you currently right now? What city? What country are you tuning in from? South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Athens. Oh my God, it's going fast. USA, Botswana, Malawi, Egypt, Kenya, Italy, Chicago, India. Wow. Nairobi, Bronx, Zimbabwe. Any Nigerians here? Is there anybody from Nigeria? Because if I have a Nigerian here, you guys know that Ghana have the best jollof, right? I was originally born in Ghana, but raised in Miami. So I'm 35 years old, 1 wife, 1 daughter. All right, so let's go straight into it. South Africa. Wow, this is everywhere. My goodness. Beautiful. Wow. Okay, so can I share my screen? Okay, boom. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's go straight into it. I'll tell my story as we are doing this. All right, so the basics of Forex. So one of the main things about Forex is that a lot of people think that, let me ask this question. Do you want to be a great trader? Drop yes or no. Drop in the chat box real quick. Do you want to be a great trader? Okay, I see. Yes, 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 yes. All right. Now I said this before on my channel on the call, that being a great trader doesn't mean that you're making money. All right. So great traders know about the charts, know about what's call it, trading view. But can I tell you that I know a lot of great traders that are not profitable, that don't make money. They know a lot about the charts, but they don't make money. So I'm gonna ask the question again. How many of us want to be profitable traders? Right, profitable traders. Let me know. Mary, exactly. How many of us want to be profitable traders? Right, trading is 90% mental. All right, 90% mental and 10% technical. Right, so you can know all that you want to know. You can know the chart, mark up the chart as much as you want to know, but that's only 10% of it. Right, so if you are successful in the skill set, what about the mindset? Right, the mindset is where everything is, and that's where I failed. In my first 6 months, I was studying, and perfecting the technical aspects, but I was doing the mindset. Right, so what are some things, let me ask this question, what are some things that a lot of people do that can affect your mental state when it comes to trading? What are some things? What do you guys think? What are some things that affect some people or make them not profitable? Self-doubt, blown account of courses, losses, emotions, right? Very good. So I believe emotion is number one. Everyone is correct, right? But the emotions is number one. If you learn how to control your emotions when you talk about trading, you become a profitable and successful trader. Let me ask this question. How many of us are naturally emotional? All right, how many of us are naturally emotional? Now, if we're naturally emotional, which most people are because we have blood inside of us, if we're naturally emotion, fear of losing, right, the FOMO, if we're naturally emotional, this is something that we have to conquer, right? We have to conquer our emotions when we trade. Let me ask this question. How many of us, when we enter a trade on a live account, our heart like drops somewhere else? How many of us like ever experienced that before? How many of us ever entered a live account or a live trade, and when you enter and you start seeing, that negative, right? You start seeing, I'm like, oh my God. It's like, so I'm gonna show you guys this story. So remember that I said that in my first 6 months, I was not good, right? So my wife was 6 months pregnant. We went to the Bahamas, right? That's where she's from. And she told me, we had a vacation. She told me, when we go, I don't want to hear nothing about trading. I don't want to see nothing about trading. Why? Because you suck. She told me that. She said, I suck. So don't stop losing the money that we have. Stop putting the money. Stop losing it. Okay. So we went. Little did she know that I put in some money, right? I hid it from her. I put in some money. So when we went, I was talking to her mom, her sister, and her, right, in the living room. And we're just chilling. And something told me, yo, go put in the trade, right? I put in $500. So something said, go put in the trade. So I became an actor, all right? I went from a Forex trader and became an actor. So I put my, Denzel Washington mode on. So I was like, oh, my stomach, oh, I can't, and I went to the bathroom with my phone. So I went in the bathroom with my phone and I put in the trade. Then I came out, she's like, baby, how are you? I'm like, I feel somewhere, I'm okay. So how many of us have ever entered a trade and so eager to find out what's going on? How many of us? We put a trade in our phone and we're so eager to find out what exactly is going on. So, some of us, we put in a trade, 30 seconds later, you want to see what's going on. Five seconds later, you want to see what's going on. A minute later, you want to see what's going on, right? These are the things that we got to get ourselves away from. And I'll show you exactly what we're talking about, right? So that was me at the time. So I got in the trade. I'm like, oh my, I'm itching. I'm like, oh my God, I got to find out what's going on with this trade. I got to find out. So I faked again. I was like, oh baby, my stomach again. It's bubbling. It's not doing well. She said, okay, go in the bathroom, go in the bathroom. So I went in the bathroom. Believe you me, when I went in the bathroom, I kind of over leveraged. When I'm in the bathroom, I was up $600. Now I went in the bathroom sick, supposedly sick, right? I came out shot and happy. She's like, what happened in the bathroom? My wife said, what in the world? What was going on in the bathroom? What? How do you come out so excited? I said, then I remembered, I'm like, oh my God, did I just, the beans hasn't spilled. So I showed it to her. I said, like, look, I just made $600. And she's like, what? At first I thought she was gonna say something like, I told you not to do that. No. But she was happy. And she said, do it again tomorrow. I was like, whoa, hold on. I don't know what I just did. I just made myself, I don't know what just happened. So let's relax, let's figure it out. But what happened was that it created that belief in me that I could actually make $600. Like, it was a belief like nowhere. And since then, I figured that I have to have a plan, right? And this is what I teach. Okay, so the first thing that I learned how to control my emotion or to become profitable was that I had to have a plan. So if you're here, right, and you don't have a plan, it is super imperative. It is so important that we have a plan. I say this all the time. If you plan to fail, or you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? Proper planning prevents poor performance. So if you don't have a plan, even if you're taking trades from IOTA, resistance, somebody put in the chat real quick, what is your favorite product in the company or signal in the company? Is it IOTA? Is it resistance? Is it theta? Is it zeta? IOTA is ruling. Oh my God. Okay, IOTA. All right, cool. Right. So it looks like it's IOTA. So should nobody like resistance? Nobody like theta or theta? No, I'm not IOTA. No, I'm not IOTA. No, I'm not sending out signals yet, but I am going to soon. All right. Okay, so it looks like IOTA, gamma. Okay, gamma is binary, correct? Okay, cool. So even if you're trading IOTA, yes, IOTA is great, right? But you still want to have that plan. If it's meant to be, it's up to me, right? The saying says, if it's meant to be, it's up to me, right? So even if you do have IOTA, have that plan. And what is in that plan? That plan is basically, how much am I trying to make, right? How much am I trying to make, okay, per day or per trade, okay, per day, right? This stuff you got to know. Per day, per week, per month, right? And per year, right? You got to have a plan. Like I said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. How are you going to build a house? And you just go tell the people, build a house, right? Tell the architect, build a house. That's not how it works. You got to have a plan. You just go to the architect. He don't know how many rooms you want. You don't know how many bathrooms you want. He doesn't know, right? So you got to have a plan when you go into it. If you don't have a plan, and this was my mistake, my first 6 months, I didn't have a plan. I was just trading. How many of us have ever traded and not put in a stop loss? Let me know. Let me see in the chat. But drop a 2 if you ever did that before. Resistance talks too much. That's funny. How many of us have ever entered a trade, right, and not put in a stop loss? I did that. Big mistake, right? A huge mistake. So what you want to do, one of the key things, right? One of the rules I have of being a profitable trader is this. Is to minimize our losses and maximize our gains, right? So this is one of the rules. The key things that I always remember myself. Minimize, right, our losses and maximize our gains, right? If you're taking notes, put this down, right? So minimize our losses and maximize our gains. Once I learned this, the first time I heard that's like, I don't get it, right? So the key thing, right, to be profitable, or one of the rules is that we have to minimize our losses. So that means that the stop loss is important, right? Stop loss helps us to minimize it. Now, I've done this before. Some of you guys probably have done it too, that you have a stop loss, but when you're looking at it, looking at the trade, you move your stop loss. Like, like, you know what? Let me move a little bit. Let me move a little bit, and it's going to do this. Or let me move a little bit. Oh, it's going to do this. that don't do nothing. It doesn't help, right? The stop loss is there so that once it hit it, you don't lose no more, right? So stop loss is very important. So one of the key rules is that do not move a stop loss and have a stop loss, right? So don't enter a trade without a stop loss. That's one of the reasons why I blew 15 accounts. One day I was trading and I was up, a certain amount of money, right? And I was happy. I was feeling good. I went to sleep with no stop loss. I woke up, my account was blown. My account was gone, right? I was up, but if I had a stop loss, I could have saved my account. But because I was so cocky, I was so emotional, it didn't happen, right? I lost the account. I blew the account, all right? So number one, we have to plan, okay? Now all this stuff, it goes deeper in the Learn Live. Sorry. All right. So number two, right? Number two is know which session you are going to trade. All right. So know which session you're going to trade. Does that make sense? So know exactly the session you're going to trade. Actually. All right. So number two, know the session you're going to trade. All right. Meaning that somebody put in the chat real quick. What are the four major sessions? All right. What are the four major sessions? I know the typing might be right. So there are four major sessions. New York open, exactly. New York, we got London, got Tokyo, exactly. And one more. What's the last one? It starts with an S. One more. It starts with an S. And the last one is Sydney. Exactly, Jerry. Exactly. Right? Sydney. So Sydney is the last one. So you got to know which session that you want to trade. Right? How many of us know? Drop a 5 in the chat box if you know which session you want to trade. Drop a 6 if you don't. Drop a 5 if you do. Drop a 6 if you don't. Okay. So some of us do, some of us don't. Okay. So we have to know which session, right? So New York session, depending where you are in the world, right? As I've seen, we have a lot of people from different parts of the world, right? So depending where you are in the world, you pick a certain session to trade, right? Because the times they open, so the banks open at a certain time and they close at a certain time. The reason why you want to do that is because of something called a spread, right? A spread is basically the difference between the ask price and the bid price. So let's say, for example, right? You're trading USD JPY, right? My favorite pair, by the way. And we're looking to buy, okay? So I'm looking to buy and the market is here, okay? If the spread is, so I'm expecting to go up. If the spread is 7, that means that I am 7 micros below. So that means that if I think I enter in here, if the market is here, right? So let's say the market is here and the spread is 7, I'm actually entering here, right? If the spread is 20, I'm actually entering here. If the spread is 50, I'm actually entering here. So you're further away from your actual entry. So if you have a take profit up here, guess what? If the market reaches there, you're still over here. You're still over here. You're still over here. So the market has to move a little bit more up in order for your TP to hit, right? So if you trade outside of your session, right, most likely you're going to be in a deeper entry than you were before or that you're supposed to. So that's why it's important to trade during your session because you're closer to the entry. Does that make sense? Drop a 7 if that makes sense to you. Right? So you don't want to trade outside your session, right? Because one, the spreads are higher. So let's say, for example, you get in the market, right? You get in with 0. Let's say 0.02, okay? And at the time, the spread is 7. So if the spread is 7, that means that 2 times 7 is what? 14. So you'll be down automatically 14 cents or 14, I don't know, pence. Is it pence for euro? Right? So anytime that we enter the market, we're always in negative. We're always in red, right? We're always going to be in red because of the spread, difference between the ask price and the bid price, right? I'm going through this a little bit quickly because of, I've done this in the Learn Live, right? It's much deeper in the Learn Live. All right. So let me delete this. Okay, let's do this. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so number 2, you want to know what session. All right, number 3, know what type of trader you are. All right, so what type of trader are you? And when I say the type, I mean, are you a scalper, right? Are you a day trader? Right? Are you a, what's next? Anybody knows? Swing trader. What's the last one? Trader, right? Or position trader, right? So we have 4 different types of traders. We have scalper, day trader, position trader, right? I mean, swing trader, yeah, and a position trader, right? So depending if you're a patient or not, how many of us are patient? Drop patient or not patient? Put in the chat box. So 2 of this are patient, 2 of this are not, right? So the non-patient are scalpers and day traders. The patient are swing traders and position traders. I see not patient, right? So if you are not patient, you're more likely going to be a scalper or day trader. So a scalper gets in the market within seconds and minutes. They get in and out the market within seconds and minutes, right? Seconds and minutes, like seconds and minutes, in and out the market quick, right? So let's have an example. You get in the market within like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you're out the market, right? You don't like to be in the market too long, right? It just does something to you, okay? Then a day trader gets in the market and might get out throughout the day, right? So they trade hours, and all right. So a day trader trade for hours, right? So for example, most people are day traders, right? They get in the trade maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, right? So the open and the close of sessions. A swing trader trade for days and weeks, right? Days and weeks. When I first started trading, I was all over the place. I did scalping. I remember one day I made $50, right? $50, but I traded 50 times. So what I was doing was that I get in the market. Once we reach $1, I get out. I get in the market. Once we reach $1, I get out. I did it 50 times. I said, no. This is not for me. No. This is too much. That was too much. I was like, no. That was too much. Right? There's nothing wrong with scalping, but for me, it's like, no. This not it. This not it. I know compounding. I know. At that time, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I was just getting in and out and in and out. Right? Then I started to do day trading. Right? So remember, I said I was a teacher. So what I did was that I used to, and I always did this. I used to mark up the chart over the weekend because I was teaching. Right? So I mark up the chart over the weekend, and then during my hours at work, I would look to see if the market reaches anywhere, and I get into a trade if I have to, right? And I still do that to this day. So I mark up over the weekend. The reason why I mark up over the weekend is because the market is not moving, right? A lot of times when the market is moving, we kind of adjust what the market is doing to what we want to see, right? So I personally mark up only on the weekends because the market is closed, so that I'm not trying to, do something that, it's not there, right? I'm not trying to see something that's not there, right? So I started trading and had a plan that I was trading. And you know what? Let me show you guys this. Let me actually show you guys what I did. I don't know if I showed it on Learn Live, right? So this was my plan when I first started trading. Let me show you. Where is it? Trading plan. All right. This is crazy. So remember I said that in my first 6 months, I was not doing good, right? So a light bulb finally came on to me, like, hey, listen, let me create something that's going to help me to do this a little bit better, right? So this is my trading plan that I came up with. So at the time I was a day trader. Now I'm a swing trader, right? So this is what I did. I had a $100 account, right? The multiple that I blew. Then I said, you know what? In a 12-month projection, all I want to do is just catch 250 pips per week and 1,000 pips per month. So that means as a day trader, I was catching like 50 pips. That was all, right? 50 pips per day or per trade. So I was doing it at 1%, meaning that my lot size was 0.01, right? So if I did a 1%, it was 0.01, and if I did it at 2%, I was only catching 25 pips at 0.02, right? So I was I'm projecting just to make 5% a day or per trade, right? So I was making $5 per trade. Now, it might not seem like a lot, right? But at the time, I was making $5 per trade. And in 20 trades within that month, I was able to double the account, okay? So in 20 trades within that month, I was able to double the account. So I was making $5. That was it, $5, right? $5 a day keeps a 9 to 5 away. That's what I was thinking at the time, okay? Then in my second month, I did the same thing, right? The exact same thing I was doing, catching the 50 pips per trade, exact same thing. So what was happening was that I was learning how to be disciplined as a trader. And this is what is like the difference between me and a lot of traders, right? There are people that are better than me on the charts. But when it comes to discipline, like I own that, right? So I learned how to be disciplined. Another thing that helped me to be disciplined was also at the time, remember I said, my wife was pregnant. So my daughter came into play and I began to learn. I'm like, I stay up at night. She's up. Or I like, no, I was sleeping. I didn't stay when my wife was up. No, I was sleeping. I lied. I stay up sometimes. When I see that she can't take it, I have to get up and like, okay, I got it. I got her, baby. I got it. Then I start to do that. But anyway, in my second month, right, I was making $10 per month. I mean, per trade, right? And look at this, my lot size started to change. Now, this is what I used to become the trader that I am today. All right. Then my third month, I started making $20 per trade, right? You see how this is compounding, right? Who said that? Pete, right? Pete said that, right? My compounding started to grow. So like, oh, shoot. So this is how it works. Okay. Now, let me tell the story. When I first started trading, right, I was looking at the group chats. I was looking at my, my mentor making $1,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in one day. I was like, okay, I can do that too, right? So I started to do things that I was not supposed to do, not knowing that he had a bigger account. He had more money in his account in order to make that, right? To leverage that. So at the time, I didn't understand that. I was like, okay, I could also make $1,000 because he's making $1,000. But I didn't think that, okay, if I have this amount of money, I can only leverage this amount, right? So I used to, that was one of the ways that I was blowing accounts because I was looking at other people's pockets, right? So, and advice I want to give you is that even if we're in our group chats, if they drop in something, right, just stick to your lane, right? Don't look at how much they're making. Compound it, you eventually get there one day, right? This is huge because I know a lot of people in the past 7 years that have been trading that are doing this. They look at somebody on social media, made $1 million. I remember one of my mentors made $1 million in one day, right? And I'm like, oh my God, let me go do that. But his account is not the same as mine. So it's going to take me some time for me to also make that or do that, right? One day, let's go. So gradually, right, it went to $40 per day, right? My lot size started changing. I was catching the same 50 pips per day, right, or per trade, right? The same, I was doing the exact same thing over and over and over. They went to $80 per day, right? Then I started making $160 per day, then $320 in my 7th month. Now, let me ask this question. How many of you guys would be okay in 7 months, you'll be making $320 per trade? How many of us would be okay with that, right? $320 per trade, not a day, per trade. If it took you 7 months, I'm fine with that, right? Because that was way more than I was making as a teacher. Then in my 8th month, I started making $640, right? This is not something that is magical. This is something that I've done, right? Because of the discipline that it taught me. So I'm here, that's why I say that in order to become profitable, it's not about being a great trader on the charts. This helps you to have that mindset as well, right? It helps you to have that 90% mental state in check. All right. So then it started to go to 1,200. All right. I remember the first time I made $1,000 on a trade. I was like, what in the world is this? I just made my almost my 2-week check on one trade. That was crazy. Almost my 2-week check on one trade. Then it started to move on up, right? Started moving on up, right? And one day, I know this is being recorded, but I remember one day I was trading US 30. That was the last time I did that. Anyway, I was trading US 30, and I got in a trade, right? And I got in, I put in the wrong lot size. I put in the wrong lot size. Now, US 30 is not the one to put in the wrong lot sizes. If you know, for those of you that know US 30, it can humble you real quick. So I was in a trade and I was down. I went to go check it and I seen the trade and I was down like a good amount of money, like a good high 5 figures. I didn't lose that trade. I won that trade, but it taught me to always check my trades before I put it down. All right. And 2 years ago, during COVID, I got in a trade. I'm not going to say the number, but I'm going to say something. I got in a trade, right? And it blew my mind that I was able to make 6 figures on one trade. I'm going to say it again. From somebody, I was in college, right, for 8 years. I'm going to say this slowly. I was in college for 8 years, not because I want to be a doctor, not because I want to be a lawyer, not because I want to be something, one of these big. I was in college for 8 years because I was just failing, period. So I'm not a smart person, or I'm not book smart. All right. So if I can do this, you can as well. I want you guys to have that belief. Don't quit. Right. If me, a whole me can do this, you can do it as well. But it came with a plan, right? It came with the plan. When I came to this company, they weren't looking for nobody, no new educators. They weren't. And I'm gonna tell you the story. They weren't looking. But one thing I can say about myself is that, I might not be the most flashiest person out there, but the heart, I definitely do have the heart to help, to teach and help. And, when the company seen my my FX book, it's like, what the? Right. So pretty soon, I'm saying this to say this, pretty soon, I don't like sending out signals. I don't like, that's not me. I'd rather teach. But I felt like, this is a place where I'm able to do something. I'm free. I have the freedom. Right. So let me tell you this. You guys are in a great system and a great company. I mean, a great company. If you work, if you study, if you do the homework that I put, how many of us did our homework? Let me know in the chat. How many of us did our homework? If you do the homework that is set before you, you're going to be okay, especially with IOTA, right? Having this plan. All right, so let's move on from here, right? I don't want to have a whole training on this. Okay, so having a plan, knowing which session to trade, which we talked about. New York, should I put it there? New York, Tokyo, London. Yeah, I gotta move that. London. What's the last one I'm missing? Sydney. All right, so let me move that real quick. Okay. So number 4. All right, so number 4, then we go to the actual charts, right? So number 1, you want to have a plan. Actually, you have a plan. The session you want to trade, which type of trader you are. All right. So number 4, then we start going to the charts. All right. So start going to the charts. So this is what I do. So I look at structure, right? So number 4, we go to the charts. All right. So like once you go to the charts, you look for market structure. All right. Which direction is the market going? That's it. Market structure is the direction the market is going. Is market going up or is market coming down? Right. If I showed you that the market is doing this, right? The market is doing this. Okay. What would you say the market is doing? Is this going up or coming down? Right, it's going up. So when the market is going up, what are we doing? Are we buying or are we selling? Somebody let me know. When it's going up, are we buying or are we selling? We're buying, exactly. So these are the little things that I caught on. Right? When I first started trading, I was looking at the green candles, right? How many of us did that? You see the green candles, then you buy. You see the red candles, then you sell. That's what I was doing. When I first started trading, that's what I was doing. Red candles, I'm selling. Green candles, and I'm buying. That's what I was like, no. That's not how you trade, right? You trade by looking at the picture. It's like driving. If you're driving and everybody's moving north, which direction are you moving? North. Going the same exact way. If everybody's moving south, which direction are you moving? South. Right? You're not going to go the opposite way. The reason why you're not going the opposite way is because you might crash, right? You're going to hit somebody else. That's so we don't do that, right? So we look at the direction that the market is going, and then we go in the same direction as the market. Okay, this is called market structure. Now I teach different ways on how to do it, how to find it, right? So after we find structure, then we're looking for the entries. Okay, after we find structure, we're looking for entries. Okay, we're looking for entries. There are so many different entries, different ways to enter the market. Now, when we talk about entry, we're not talking about entering the market. Okay, when we talk about entry, we're not talking about entering. Finding an entry and entering are two different things. So for example, if you go to your favorite store, right, and you locate where the entry is, say, oh, that's where we should enter. Have you entered? No. Why? You have your reasons, right? So you enter the store, you have not, or so you go through those doors, you have not entered the market or entered, right? So finding an entry, finding that door, and actually stepping in are two different things. Make sense? So the same thing is here. We find the entry. There's many different ways. We have, we talked about support and resistance this past week, right? So we talked about support and resistance, right? We're gonna talk about quarter theory soon, right? Quarter theory. We're gonna talk about supply and demand probably next week. Supply and demand. Talk about Fibonacci. I'm right fibs, right? These are some of the ways that we find entries. And then after you find your entry, what you want to do next? Let me see if I could. Are you mad? No. How do I? Let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to delete this thing. Okay, whatever. All right. So after you find your entry, right? Then you want to look for your actual entry. Okay. You actually enter the market. So you have something like, so your entry. Okay. So your entry and hold on. And then the last one would be actually entering the market. Okay. So number 6 would be entering the market. All right. So these are the major things that I do. Now, I haven't talked about, I didn't talk about continuation like patterns. Okay. So I should have done that. Okay. So let's do this. Let's make this number 5. And then this number 6. Okay. And this number 7. All right. So number 4 would be patterns. All right. So number 4 would be patterns. All right, right here, patterns. And I still did the same thing. Only, all right, patterns, right? There are 2 separate patterns. There is a continuation pattern. Yeah, I was right. Continuation pattern, right? And then reversal pattern. All right. So this is what I do. So the first thing I do is I plan. I know exactly what I'm doing, right? Before I enter the market, I know which session I'm trading. I know the type of trader that I am, right? I'm a swing trader, right? Then I go on the charts. So the first thing I look for is patterns, then the structure, then my entry, then actually entering the market, right? So this is a few things that I do now. I want to say this, right? Because I can't say this on Learn Live, but I learned something over the past year that I think that everyone should look into, and that is having a funded account, right? The reason why is because if I knew, it would be a disservice if I don't say this. If I knew about funded account when I first started the market, I would have done that. Or trading, I would have done that. What is a funded account? So some of you guys might not know what that is. You know, I told you guys that I blew a lot of accounts, right? I blew 15 accounts. And if I knew that I could pay $85, right? $100, 200, whatever it may be, to get a bigger account, right? I'd have done that. How many of us know about funded account? Let me know in the chat. Say yes if you do. Like if you know about funded account, drop no if you don't. Right? FTMO, my Forex funds, my Forex funds. What I would advise is that for you guys to, teach the team that. If you guys want me to come to another call and just explain what that is, I will do so. Because I believe that is very, very key to growing our account. I mean, making money, especially in this company, right? Having something like IOTA, having something like, these great, resistance, theta, and all these zeta, right? I think that it would be something great, because this is what I'm doing with my people, that showing everybody how to get funded and using that instead of using your own money. If I knew this, if somebody told me this when I first started, instead of using my own money to blow left and right, oh my God, I wish somebody told me, but I didn't know, right? So this is something I'm passing. Go do your research. Funded account, just type in Forex funded account and just do your research and see what it is and how it is. Okay, so at this time, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and I'm gonna see if we have any questions. I'm gonna take some questions, Q&A, drop some. If you wanna, I don't know if you guys can unmute or if you want to, I don't know. Davron, what do you want to do? You want them to unmute or put in the chat, or?
They can put it in the chat.
Okay. All right, so you guys can go ahead because time is of the essence. I respect time very much, and I don't like to go over time. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. You can ask anything. By the way, this video came late. I'm wearing this hat because I felt like it's a safari theme. It's so hot. It's so hot in Miami, so it's like it's too hot. How do you know when to exit a bad trade? So great question. Personally, when I first started trading, right, this is where, if you're looking at the charts or looking at the MetaTrader 4, it's a bad habit to be doing, right? And eventually we should get out of it. If you're doing it now, it's fine. It's okay, right? But eventually we should get out of it. The reason why is because if you have a plan, right, you know that 50 pips is my take profit. 20 pips is my stop loss, whatever your plan is, right? So 20 pips. Okay, let me have a visual. Let's have a visual real quick. Okay, you know what? Let's do trading view. Yeah, let's do trading. Give me 1 second. Let me find trading view. Okay, let me share. Okay, so let's do a visual. I love visuals. Okay, so let's say, for example, right, we have this. Okay, so okay, perfect. All right, so let's say we have USD JPY. Holy, yeah, US dollar is about to crash. Oh, it started. Okay, it started. Oh man, it's crazy. Anyway, so let's have an example, right? We get into a trade. All right, so let's say we get into a trade. Let's just say sell. So let's say we sold here. All right, and every time I trade, I'm going for 20 pips, which is, just do this. Okay. And then my take profit is 50 pips, let's just say. Right, so this trade I'm looking at right here. Okay, let me zoom in. Now, before you enter a trade, right, you should have confirmed, right? You gotta have, confirm that your trade is good. All right, that's, hey, I did everything I have to do, right? So when you say that to exit a bad trade, number one, now that I look at things, right, why is it bad? Was it bad by your analysis? Was it bad because you're not patient, right? Is it because it's not doing what we wanted to do fast enough, or is it because it was just a bad setup, right? So if you think it's a bad thing, just get out, right? But we have a stop loss for a reason, right? So every time you get into a trade, you should be comfortable with your stop loss. The reason why a lot of times we're not comfortable with the trade is because we might have over leveraged, right? So let's say, for example, right, you have $100 in your account, 100 euros. and you were risking $2, no matter what happened, right? No matter what happened, you lose $2. Would you worry about that trade if it's bad or good? Let me see in the chat box, yes or no? If you're losing $2 or €2 and you have a $100 account, would you worry about it? Right? No, right? Most people say no, right? So a lot of times if we worry about a trade, it's not because of the trade itself, but it's most likely it's because of the lot size that we put. So before you enter a trade, make sure you know how much you're risking before you enter a trade. Because if you know that I'm risking $50 or 50 pounds or €50 out of a $100 account, you probably wouldn't take that trade, right? So let's figure out, okay, am I losing? How much am I losing before how much I gain? That's why, what did I say? Minimize your losses and maximize your gains, right? So if you know how much you're losing, risk to reward ratio, if you know that, then you should be good to go. But if you don't know, don't take the trade, right? So if it's a bad trade, again, it's most likely because you either over leverage, right? You're scared about the money that you're going to lose, or you're not patient enough to see it come through. All right, this is the second question. I hope that answered the question. My question is, the plan you showed us was all about compounding? Yes, it's strictly compounding. Is it advisable to keep compounding without withdrawal for months? Now it's up to you. So what I do is I have 3 accounts. I have 3 accounts. I have an account that I would draw weekly. I have an account that I would draw monthly, and I have an account I would draw yearly. So I have 3 accounts. Right. So again, I have an account that I would draw weekly. I have an account that I would draw monthly, and I have an account I would draw yearly. Right. I learned this from one of my mentors. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. That's so cool. Right. So that's what I do. What's the procedures to access funding account? So I would talk to the leadership, and if it's okay, like I'll talk to leadership first, because I can't imply myself on anything. Right. I talk to leadership, and then if it's okay, at a later date, we'll come and talk about it and show you guys exactly what to do. All right, because there's many out there, but I've done my research and I've seen the ones that are, that are better for, for us especially, right? Because there's rules on it. What is your stop loss? What if your stop loss says 20 pips? What does take profit need to be? Then surely likely. Okay, go. Okay, so good question. So that's about risk reward ratio, right? Everybody's different. So let's say, for example, this is a hard question to answer because there's no specific answer to this, but it depends on the individual. So for example, some people like to risk $10 for $10, right? So they do $10 or 10 pounds to 10 pounds, right? That's not me. I like to risk the least and make the most. That's me, right? So some people are like this. They risk 10 pounds, $10, right? To make 10 pounds to $10. And some people risk 10 pounds or $10, right? To make 20 pounds or $20, right? And then some people like to risk $10 to make $50. Some people like to risk $10 to make $100. Now, the more you want to make, the longer it's going to take. Ooh, but I'm not a rapper, right? The longer, what did I say? That was nice. Yeah, what was the bar that I just dropped? The longer, I forgot what I just said, but it was something to make and take. It was something to make and take. That was bars. But the longer, well, I forgot. The longer it is to, the longer your TP, the longer you want to make, the longer to take. There we go. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. The more you want to make, the longer you're going to take. Thank you. Right. So the higher your TP is, right, the more money you want to make, right, is the longer. So that's on patience as well. Make sense? The longer it would take. Rob, what most is pretty curious about trail and stop. Could you break it down? Okay, yeah, trail and stop. Got you. Yeah, so I know you guys see it on IOTA a lot, right? I get that question asked all the time. I was like, trail and stop. What's trail and stop? Trail and stop. Okay, so the only way to do a trail and stop is if there's 2 ways. Your broker either has a trailing stop as an app, right? I know one broker that do have it. It's called Owanda. Owanda has that. So you can actually trade and you can put a trailing stop. So it does it automatically, right? But if not, if you use MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, you have to move your stop loss manually, right? And that's pretty hard to, to stick by, right? So every time it moves, you have to move it through, because I believe IOTA say 300 pip trailing stop, right? So this is how it works. Usually a trailing stop, this is how it looks like. So let's say, for example, we're looking to enter a trade, right? And we want it to be like this, our TP for whatever reason. So we have a stop loss here, right? For those of you that don't understand what that is, so a stop loss is here. So in this case, for a sell, the deeper it goes, right, you move your stop loss into either break even, right, meaning that if it shoots back up like this, right, you're not going to lose money. So as it's going, if we go for a sell, right, you will continue to move your stop loss, right? You move just in case the market reverses against us. It would then take us out in profit, right? These are one of the habits that I came to learn later on, right? So this is a habit that you want to do. Anytime you're in a trade, right? If it moves up a certain amount of pips and profit, you want to move it to break even, move to, and move it. Okay. Now, in order to do a trailing stop loss automatically, you got to have MetaTrader 4 on the computer. Right? I don't have it on the computer, so I don't even do that at all, personally. Right? So you got to have it on the computer. I'm going to send a video to the leaders so that you guys can see exactly how to use it, right? You got to have MetaTrader 4 on the computer in order to use it. It's very easy. It's automatic, bam. It's very quick, okay? There's an option. It says trailing stop loss, how many pips you want, bam, you put it in, that's it, right? So when it says 300, you just put it in into MetaTrader 4 on the computer, and it just does it automatically for you. So you don't have to come in. So every time, it's moving, guess what? It's moving. It's trailing behind 300 pips. So if we move here, it's moving, it's automatically. So if it ever shoots up, you're going to be in profit. It's going to take you out in profit, right? Remember, minimize your losses, maximize your gains, right? This is part of it. You want to learn how to move your stop loss into profit so that you can always secure your money and also modify by closing with some profits, right? Again, this is something that we'll be learning on Learn Live. You could trade his stop loss, but then proceeds to move to TP. Okay, so what trading lessons should we observe about the recession? Honestly, there's nothing. Like I said before, earlier I said that the recession doesn't do anything to us when it comes to trading. All we have to learn is how to read the charts, right? So for example, the dollar right now, right? Look at the dollar. So look what I have marked up, right? The dollar right now has fallen below this point. Right, so I had a trend line there, right? So the trend line was from June of this year, right? So actually, it could go deeper and deeper. Right, I can even move it deeper. All right, so let's say we have something like this. Actually, let me just keep it there. All right, so let's say we have something like this. Okay, so from June to now, right, we see this little trend line. Now it has broken past this. Now I taught this in Learn Live that anytime you see a trend line like this, right? If it breaks below this, anybody knows what that is? Can anybody tell me what this is? If it moves below this trend line, what does that mean? Right? This is a bullish trend line. So if it moves below this, right, we are in a sell zone, right? So right now, the dollar is in a bearish market, right? And they're talking about the recession has begun. Some people are saying the recession has begun. Some people are not convinced yet. Right, when it comes to US dollar, right? Just today, they're saying that the recession has begun. Just today. So this is confirming that, the dollar hit its peak, and it looks like it's coming back down. Now, I would say the recession is kind of coming back. I mean, it's when it breaks this right here, right? Because this is the previous low. Right? Now, this is going into technicals and stuff like that, right? So if it breaks this next week, the dollar's in big trouble. Right, the dollar's in huge trouble, right? So okay, I'm not gonna go too deep into that. Do you take the same trades on all three accounts? Most of the time I do. Yeah, most of the time I do. Yes. When should someone move from demo to live? Great question. Oh my God, that's a great question. So, and it's an easy answer. You practice on demo till you see yourself successful in demo. Now, let me say this. A lot of us, now don't laugh when I say this, because a lot of us get a demo account, that's $100,000, $50,000, $1 million. If you're not going to start a real account with that, don't do that, right? The reason why you don't do that is because practice make permanent, right? Not perfect, but practice make permanent. So what you practice is going to be permanent, right? So you want to practice as low as you can, right? Practice with as low, closest to the amount of money you're going to trade live with as much as you can, so that when you start seeing those numbers, it doesn't shock you, right? Because sometimes when we trade with our demo account, now let me see if this been you. If when we start trading our demo account, we start seeing numbers such as $5,000 profit, right? $10,000 profit, $1,000 profit, and then when we start trading a live account, we see $5, right? We see $2. We see $10, $20. Like, we're like, wait, what's going on? What happens is when we start seeing that, our mind starts telling us that we got to see bigger, right? So that's when we go into our bad habits, right? We go into our bad habits. We start to raise our lot sizes a little bit higher, right? So my advice is that trade as closely to your live account as possible. Now, a demo account that I would use that you can create is called Trader's Way, right? Trader's Way has online though, not on the phone, right? So go to tradersway.com, create a demo account, right, on tradersway.com. That's what I do, right? I tell everybody go to Trader's Way because you can put in any money. Okay, you can put in $100, you can put in $500, $1,000, right? Trader's Way online, not on the MetaTrader 4, Trader 5, right? Because on MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5, you can only start with I believe 3,000, right, with the demo, right? If you're doing 3,000 on your live account, that's fine. But if it's anything lower than that, use tradersway.com, sign up online, demo account, bam, you can use that so it's close. So you want to practice because, like I said, practice makes permanent. All right. How does, let me see, where did I? Can you move stop loss on your phone, on your computer? Both. So Miss Mary, you can use stop loss on your phone and your computer. You can do both. How does high impact news affect our trading, and how does it maneuver? Great question. I love this question. So the question is, how does high impact news affect our trading, and how do we maneuver if we're in profit? So there's two different ways. Before you trade, right? What I do for the week is, before I trade, I go to economic news website. Okay, so there is Forex Factory. That's what I use. Right? There's so many. There's Investopedia, but I use Forex Factory. Right. So Forex Factory tells you. So if it's yellow, so as you can see here, right? These are the currencies right here. So the currencies you see: Euro, Great British Pound, Japanese yen, US dollar, USD is US dollar, Australian dollar, chef. Okay, so you see the currencies there. It tells you the time as well. So depending where you are, you want to switch the time frame right here, right? Switch it to whatever time zone that you're in. Okay, you want to switch it, right? So it tells you that you are okay. So what it do is that it'll tell you the impact right here. So the yellow means low impact news. Orange means medium impact news, and red means high impact news. So before you trade, right, if you're trading by yourself, you want to know what's happening with that currency that you're trading. So if there's news about to happen, right? So for example, today's what? Today's the 29th, right? So next week, right? So next week, starting on, let's say, all right, so Monday, okay? So Monday, there's high impact news for the US dollar at 10 a.m. So if you are already in a trade and you're in profit, I'll move my stop loss to break even or in profit because you don't know what's going to happen, right? It could be negative, it could be positive, right? If you're trading Australian dollar, If you're already trading, right, you want to move your stop loss or get out the trade, or if you're not comfortable with trading, just get out, right? So these news, when you see big candles, it's because of high impact news, almost always, all the time. Okay, so for example, next week Friday, right? Next week Friday is is it a following week? Oh yeah, right here, right? So next week Friday is something called NFP, right? Non-farm payroll. So it's the release of jobs, jobs in the US and also in Canada, right? So right here, next week Friday, USD and CAD, right, going to be high impact news at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, right? So news is very important. Now, if you're not in a trade, you might want to wait till after the news hit, right? It's dangerous. I've done that before. I wanted to make money and I'm trying to get into the trade as the trade is going on, right? So you want to be very careful. If you're brand new, I wouldn't advise you trading once the news is happening, right? So you want to know when the news is happening. This is some of the things that keep you from making those big mistakes. How many of us have ever entered a trade and then it goes opposite our way immediately? All right, so how do you overcome an error? How do you overcome the common error on MetaTrader 4? What do you mean? How do you overcome the common error? What's that? Can you stop loss? What time frame do you use most of the time to determine a trend? Great question. So depending on what type of trader you are, right? Depending on what type of trader you are, if you are a scalper, go to 15-minute a split second drop. Yes, split second. Right. So if you're a scalper, you go to 15 minutes. Okay. If you're a scalper, 15 minutes to find a trend. If you're a day trader, you go to the 4-hour. All right. Again, all of this stuff is in Learn Live as well. Okay. I'm gonna drop something in the chat, in my chat, pretty soon, so that you guys can see the order of everything. All right. So 4-hour is day trader. Swing trader, you're looking at the daily time frame, right, to see what's going on. Okay. And then position trader, you go from weekly and etc. Okay. So I'm gonna say it again. Position trader, you're looking at weekly or monthly, right? The banks trade like this. As a day trader, a swing trader, you're looking at the daily, right? That means that every candle is a day, right? So a daily means that every candle is a day, right? So if you want to see the bigger picture, you always go to high time, a time frame higher. Then 4-hour is for the day traders, most people, right? 4-hour day traders. And then scalpers are 15 minutes to find the trend. Okay, makes sense? I just follow Ayuda. Okay, let me see. What would you advise when trading high volatility market? For example, when the New York market opens. So, well, New York is not volatile as London, right? Gold is volatile. Bitcoin is volatile. US 30, XPX 500, NAS 100. Those are volatile markets, right? GBP, NZD, certain forex market are volatile, but apart from that, the forex market is not really too volatile, depending on the broker that you have, right? That's another thing. Some brokers, the leverages are really high, and some brokers are very, very low, right? So it depends on the broker that you have, if you're leveraging high or you're not. It shows common error and you can't do nothing. So if it shows common error, most likely it's because you might not have internet, right? Might not have service on the internet. Or if you're putting in a trade with IOTA or you put in a trade with someone, it probably is because the trade has already passed the level that you're trying to get into, right? So the trade has already passed the level. So those could be two of the common things, that you don't have internet, right? Your service might not be connected, or it already passed the place you're trying to trade, all right? Some of us are getting the error when we place a trade. Yeah, so again, either the connection is not there, right? So you got to make sure that you're connected. Now, when you say the error, are you talking about MetaTrader 4 on your phone or your laptop? Because that's usually the case. Now, gold sometimes there are times, it depends. Also, depending on your broker, right? Gold, sometimes they close for an hour, right? Depending on your broker, sometimes gold, they close for an hour and then they come back. Some brokers do that. I don't know why, right? Some brokers do that, right? They close for an hour and then come back, right? So a lot of times, like some brokers around 5 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern, they close. And sometimes around noon, they close. So that could be it as well. How long does high impact news last? So that's a great question. That's not nothing I really looked at, but usually it's just, the most I've seen is 15 minutes, max 15 minutes. So it's usually from the time to 15 minutes. It all depends, right? But that's a great question. I've never looked into that. And I'm going to look into that. Because you said that, I'm going to look into that. So Mary said, Mary to 4. Yeah, so if it's happening to a lot of people, that's usually, if you guys have the same account, the same broker, then most likely it's a broker that you're using that they closed, or you don't have service, but the service might not be it. The service might not be it, because if it's happening to a lot of people, then that's not it. Which days are profitable and less profitable than others? So it depends on, great question. It depends on the market. I think for me, right, I have a plan. So I trade Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday. I mean, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, sorry. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The reason why is because I trade New York session, right? New York is not open on Sunday. All right, New York is not open on Sunday. New York, when it opens on Monday, I've gotten to see that the market is just moving, making this move. Not saying that I won't get in the market, but I usually don't. So I fix the time is Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Friday, the market is closing, so I don't really like to get in the market at that time. I don't ever trade on Friday, ever. I don't ever trade on Friday. I used to, but that's my schedule, right? Remember I said that I'm very disciplined. Right, so I have this. Now my schedule might not work for you, right? If you trade London, if you trade Sydney, or you trade Tokyo, you can trade from Sunday when the market opens, right? Because it's that time, right? When the market opens, it's exactly that time that Tokyo and then on Sydney. I've seen the absence of candles. You mean the gaps, right? Talking about gaps. And it's difficult. Does it happen? Yeah. So the gaps. So basically, when you see the absence of candles, is gaps. Some brokers show it, and then some brokers don't show it, right? Some brokers show it, and some brokers don't show it. So the gaps, is there, like my broker, like if you use Owanda, right, on MetaTrader, on TradingView, you're like, it shows it, like it doesn't show no gap. But depending on some brokers, I don't know why some brokers don't show it. Some brokers show it. I have no idea why they do that. Ralph, do you use what you taught us on session? Okay. And join your recorded session to learn how to mark up the chart? Yes, that's exactly how I trade. So every session that I have is exactly how I trade. Exactly, nothing less. Which pairs do you trade mostly? I trade New York session. So US, what was it? US 30, right here. So these my pairs right here. USD JPY, USD CAD, Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD USD, and NZD USD. That's it. That's the pairs I trade. Just 6. Right. The rest of them are my currency pairs. My currencies. All right, my currencies. And I just look at Bitcoin. I just look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. I don't trade them. But I used to trade them, but I stopped trading them. I just look at them. I let Endotech do his job. Hey, you know the vibes. Endotech. All right. How do you take control of your emotions and make sure that fear and greed do not influence your trading? So that's for my plan. Because I have that plan. That plan is everything to me, right? That plan helps me to control my emotion. Because I know that I'm only risking $2 out of $100, I'm okay, right? My emotions are not all over the place. Because I know that I'm risking $10 out of $1,000, my emotions are not all over the place. Because I know that I'm risking $200 out of a $20 account, $20,000 account, emotion is not all over the place, right? So that's one of the key things I control my emotion, because I know exactly what I'm risking. I know exactly what I'm getting. So when I get into a trade, I'm not even looking at the phone. I don't look at the phone no more. I just trade, and maybe I look at it at the end of the week. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. That's how I trade. If I win, I win. I lose, I lose. Right? Because I'm not risking that much. So eventually, I learn how to minimize my losses and maximize my gains. Right. So I could lose 5 straight, which I don't. But I could lose 5 straight. I win 1, and it's going to make up for the 5 that I lost. Right. So that's risk reward ratio. Do you have a live that teaches market charts only? So great question. So currently right now I have two sessions. All right. There's the third one about to be added on, and that's where I'll be doing my live markups. Okay. So right now I'm just teaching 2 sessions. My third one's going to be live. All right. So last one, what trading platform would you recommend? Type spread. Now I can't. So I can't give a broker. I'm not allowed to give a broker. A broker, for you to go on a live account with. But what I can say is that, just do your research, right? Do your research. I cannot, unfortunately, because I'm an educator, right? I can't do that. Right? Do you talk about imbalance liquidity on your Learn Live? No, I do not. No, I do not. I have so many friends that trade like that. I don't trade like that personally. But I know a lot of people that do trade like that, but just not. That's not here. No, so I do not. I do not trade like that. All right, Curtis. I'm what you call a technical trader, right? Confluence, naked trader. When I say naked trader, I'm not talking about trading. I'm not trading naked. No, no. I don't like indicators and all those things. All right. LeBron was that. Why do some brokers get into profit faster than others? Crooks. Some of them. That's why you got to be careful. You got to be careful with some. Make sure you talk to. I'm gonna say this. If you ask me offline, then you're good, right? But yeah, if you ask you offline, we could kind of sneak it in. We could sneak it in, but recorded, all that stuff. If you guys get me, you get me. All right. But thank you guys. If there's no more questions, thank you. Do you have a training on how to navigate TradingView? It's quite crazy on me sometimes. Okay, so I used to. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is one of these trainings, I'm going to do that and have it there. All right, one of these trainers, I'm going to show people how to use TradingView and how to work it. And that's something I did in my previous company, which I have to do here. Okay. All right. So if there's no other questions, because I know she'll be here for some time. I don't want to, it's late for some of you guys. I don't want to, waste too much of your time, but I'll be back. Thank you guys. Thank you, family, for having me. Like I always say, Mr. Damquah signing out. Yeah. Peace.
Thank you, Ralph. Appreciate it. And guys, if you can just drop a thank you. If you took a picture with Ralph today, if you took a video, just tag him on social media. Thank him for this amazing call. Thank you, brother. Appreciate your time. And the team learned a lot. Thank you again.